Howdy folks, and welcome back to CAD Foundations, where today we are going to look at the OnShape Unit 2 skateboard activity. So this is a really fun activity, and for this, I feel like this is a unit where you actually learn the meat and potatoes of OnShape. But for my students, there have been some pitfalls on this lesson, so I just want to go ahead and go over it and address some of those pitfalls. So if you're having trouble, go ahead and follow along and we will get you through it. So obviously the first thing you want to do is, go to the OnShape Learning Center, which click this little head icon here. It'll take you to the Learning Center. You type in Unit 2. It'll pop right up. Obviously I've completed it, but yeah, so this is what you'll wind up with in the end. Just a nice little skateboard. And for this one, I've done the extension activities where you change the shape and you bend it and, make it look a little bit more realistic. But maybe we'll do that, maybe we won't. I don't know. But first thing we want to do is we want to actually go in to your three lines, your hamburger up here, whatever you want to call it, and you want to copy the workspace because right now we can't actually do anything on this. This is not our document, so none of our tools are here. So we are going to need to make a copy. So first option is copy workspace. So let's do that. That's fine. Copy it to wherever you want. I'm copying it to my enterprise location. You obviously won't have that folder. And then another good idea is what I like to do is I like to have the actual unit open in another window. So that way you can get in there, read along, and do it alongside. So because I have an additional monitor, I'm going to put it on that monitor. If you don't have an additional monitor, move it over to the side so you can do this, but I do. So if you have another monitor, I highly recommend you put it on there. All right, so let's tuck into it. So this is my copy that I own. Yes, it is. So let's go ahead into part 1 here, and it's going to ask us a few things. So let's get started. It's just going to go over some of the basics, just let you know. And then we're going to get into actually designing the deck. So if we scroll down a little bit, and you should be reading this because there is some valuable information here. I've done this before, and hopefully you have at least tried. But I'm going to try to go through it relatively fast here. So I'm going to stay on my second monitor is where I'll be doing the reading. And we'll go ahead and get started here. So, all right, so we want to make a sketch on our front plane. I'll hit N for normal to get that in normal mode. We're going to want a center point rectangle. Use our origin point because that'll keep it constrained. Doesn't matter what we put down there. Now, second thing we want to do is we want to grab some center point circles here, and it should automatically lock to the midpoint here. And then I'm going to do this actually incorrectly first. So I'm going to put that there. Same thing, lock in on this side, and I'm going to put this here. All right, so here is a stumbling block that I see a lot of kids will have. Let me get to okay, so now I know the length. So we'll go in here and get our dimension tool up here, type D, and we'll go from unit to unit. And this is supposed to be 31 inches. And you'll notice it's not black, and I can still mess with my circles here. So that's not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, and I'm going to put those circles in correctly this time. So again, center point lock, and I want to make sure I'm locking into that top point. Center point and locking into the top point. So now, when I put in that dimension, everything will square up. So we're looking good there. Okay. And up next, yeah, all they want us to do is extrude it. So I'm not even going to exit my sketch. I'm just going to extrude. I don't want a surface. I want a solid. I want all these things. And what do I want? Do I want 1 inch? That doesn't look right. 10 millimeters. So I'm going to type in 10, and because we're in inches, I'm going to type mm to make sure it's millimeters, and we'll select that, and boom, hey presto, we already have our deck done. All right. So next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to sketch on the top here, N for normal, and we're going to use that center point rectangle again. So we want to make sure we're in line with the origin. You can see that vertical constraint lines popping up, and we're just going to plonk it down right around here. Doesn't super matter where at this point. And then D for dimension again, and we want these. Let me look here. Gosh, it's small. Okay, we want that 8 inches. So 8 is the distance we want there. Looking good. And okay, so our dimensions on the side here. D for dimension again. And I want 1.625 there. And on this, I want 2.125. So 2 1/8 there. And we're looking good. And what do they want us to do next? Okay, so it's going to want us to just mirror that over. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to find my mirror tool up here. My mirror line is going to be that center plane there. And we're going to pick everything over here. And we're looking good there. So now is where we want to use our hole tool. So I'm going to grab the hole, and what settings do we want here? So let's just get everything clicked. First off, we're going to want every corner that we just made there. And now let me find the settings here. Okay. So we want clearance. Do we want to be we want to be in inches. We want countersunk, and we want clearance number 10, free through all, start from part. Okay. And that should be good to go. And what that did was that went ahead and dug countersunk holes into our board here. And what that's going to allow to do is it's going to allow that chamfered edge of the screw to actually sink all the way down in because it's flush, because that will destroy the soles on the treads of your shoes if you're trying to skate it and the screws are sticking out, and all sorts of other bad things. Alrighty, so now we're going to get our fillets in. So we're going to fill it here, and we're going to fill it along our sides. And if you just select that one side there, that is going to go ahead and fillet everything. And what do we want the fillets to be? 0.125. Okay, so that is what you want, 0.125, 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to click my check mark, and we're good to go there. Alrighty, now it's asking us to change the color of the board. So if we right click on part and we go to edit appearance, we can pick any color we want, green. That's fine with me. So there we go. We have a nice, beautiful green board now. And they want us to assign a material to it next. So again, I'm going to right click on my part. You know what, let's rename it for now because they're going to ask us to do it eventually. So I'm going to name this deck because this is my deck. And down here, rename deck. If I can spell it right, deck. Oh my goodness. Deck and rugs. Okay. So now it wants us to assign material. So that was directly underneath, or directly above, pardon me, where we went to appearance. And what does it want? Maple, I think? Yeah, maple. So we want to stay in the OnShape part library. Then we'll just type in maple here, maple hard, and we're good to go there. And now if we check our mass properties, it has mass. Whereas, let me just go back and, okay, so now it'll only tell us volume and surface area. And if I redo that, now it should tell us, see, we're no longer red anymore, and we actually have some weight. All right. So what do they want from us next? Okay, so that's it. We're done. We are done with the deck there. So we're already on to unit, or part 2.2 here. So they want us to now start designing the trucks. It's going to give us a little diagram here. I'm just going to try to fast forward to where they want us. Okay. So we are, I believe, going to go to the bottom. Yes, we're going to go to the bottom. And for normal, I'm going to make a sketch here. And we want to offset here. Let's turn this original sketch back on. Not that sketch, sorry, this sketch. We want to offset these guys. And what do we want that offset to be? Okay, we wanted a 1/4 inch, so I'm just getting lucky here. So it is a 1/4 inch, so I'm going to hit enter. And what else do they want? Okay, so now they just want us to extrude that. So we want to extrude it, but we don't want any of the the screw holes, because that's where the screws are going to go through. And very importantly here, we need this to be a new part, not add. We do not want this to be part of our deck. So we want to make sure this is a new part, and we want this at a 1/4 inch. So 0.25 there. And good to go. All right. So now it wants us back here. Okay. Oh, I just realized, hey, even I made a mistake. So I guess sketched my board on the front. No big deal though, because if you sketch things on the wrong plane, beauty of parametric modeling is if you go and change something, the rest of if you make a mistake and you go back in your, like I went to sketch 1, change my plane, it will alter the whole rest of the sketch because everything is constrained to itself. So parametric modeling, pretty beautiful thing. So I believe now it wants us, okay, sketching on the front plane. So let's go ahead and tuck in there, and for normal. And what do they want us doing here? All right, so it wants us using this top line here. Okay, we got it. And what else you want us to do with it? Okay, make a rectangle beneath it. I do not want a center point rectangle though. I want a corner to corner rectangle. So I'm going to select that. We'll go ahead and put it down. And what did you want that to be? Okay, it's not going to tell me yet. It just wants me to put down a second part, so we'll do that too. I really just wanted to mention these though. Hey, there we go. There's some dimensions. So D for dimension. And we want this to be 0.5, so a 1/2 inch there. We want this guy to be 0.375. And this guy here is 1.5. Alrighty, so we are looking good there. Now we're going to go in for another extrude. Okay, so notice this wants to extrude in only one direction. We want to make sure we're clicking symmetric so it extrudes both ways. And it wants 3/4 of an inch, so 0.75 here. And we're good to go there. All right. And then just a point of clarification, a lot of my students here, they think they need to make both sets of trucks, but we'll get into it later. Once you get into an assembly studio, once you've made a part, you can insert it as many times as you want. So there's no need to make the second truck. You only need one. Okay, so part 2, we're going to rename that, I'm guessing truck base plate. So rename truck base plate. All right. What else do we need here? And what are you asking for? Okay, so it's going to want another sketch on the front and for normal, and it wants us to use this bit here. And that's so we can get a circle beneath it. So I'll track down from the midpoint on a circle and then another concentric one inside of it. And what do we want those to be? 0.75 and 0.25. So D for dimension. This one is 0.75. 0.75. And this little fellow, 0.25. Okay, and then it wants it D for dimension. It wants it 0.75 away. All right, so we're looking good there. And now we want to extrude just the middle part. So I'm going to accept it. I'm going to go to extrude, pick just that middle part there. It wants this at, what do you want that at? 8.5 inches. 8.5, symmetric. And we want to make sure that sketch is turned on. And what next? What do we want that long part for? 6 inches. All right, so extrude now this part, and we want 6 inches here and symmetric. All right, so we're looking pretty good there. We can turn that sketch back off, and I'm guessing it wants us to rename that part. Yep, truck hanger. Rename. Okay. Alrighty. Let's go, and it wants us making a sketch here. And for normal. Okay, and we want to make sure it's centered, so we're going to use these two guys with the use tool. We want a circle centered on both of these, so just track them both to the middle. And what do you want that circle to be? 0.375. And it wants one outside of it that is 1. So grab another circle, concentric, and 1. All right, so we're extruding that up. And this one's going to be new. It's a new part. It's going to be 1/4 inch. And this is going to be, if memory serves, whoop, not properties, close. Memory serves, this is going to be our bushing. just memory from actually riding a skateboard. It's been a long time since I've done this unit. Hey, it is bushing. Good spoiler alert from me. And wants us to turn on sketch 6. Okay. So let's turn on the visibility from that. It wants that center bit. Wants us to extrude that as a solid. Just you. We're going to add that to the base plate. And how tall are we going to make it? 3/4 of an inch. Alrighty, looking good. You really didn't need to turn on that that sketch for that. That was a bit redundant. But, you know, to each their own. Okay, so we're going to grab our center point circle, plonk her down there, 1.25, and it's asking you to use the sketch again. I don't know why. You really don't need to at this point. And normal. Okay, so we want to use I'm not sure how they're using it, but I can find it just by... Alright, so apparently they're able to get something out of the use tool here. I, on the other hand, am not, so I'm just going to construction use this guy and this guy. And then construction line through the middle, and we get there in the end. Not too sure what they did there, but we got it. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Line tool, we know how to use that guy. Alright, so line tool, whoops. So line tool, we want to start here. Go to our center point there. Back down. Lock in. Right there. And then that's not perfect, but I didn't feel like doing it in 2 steps. I could do it in 1 step. If I just horizontal constrain that, and boom, everything's constrained there. What's next? Yeah, it wanted us to do that in 2 steps, but no, I've bested it. What next? Okay, so now we're extruding. We're extruding 1/4 inch. Let's extrude that, but not this middle part here. And we want to add it to the truck hanger. And it is 1/4 inch. And it's supposed to be going the other way. So that's just this little arrow here that just tells it, no, I want you going down instead of up. And oh, hold the phone there. I actually put that on. Hold on. I put that on the wrong face. My bad. So instead of putting that there, I was meant to put it there. And because of that, I'm going to have to go back and flop that and flop that. Okay, so now we're looking good. The beauty of parametric modeling. Even when you screw it up, you could recover immediately. Alrighty, so what is next? Okay, so they want us to hide our truck hanger for a second. We're going to make a sketch on that plane. We want it. Where do you want it? Okay. And for normal, they just want it centered and centered. And how big? How big, I say? 1/2 inch. So 0.5. And we're going to extrude that for 1/2 inch. So extrude. Let's turn our hanger. I said, let's turn our hanger back on. Okay. So we want to extrude for 1/2 inch. And we want to add to the hanger, not to the base plate, but to the hanger. Okay. Looking good. Alrighty, now it wants us to add some fillets. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click my fillet tool here. It does want 0.125, so we're looking good there. It wants that. Wants this. It wants this edge, this corner, this edge, that edge, the corners. So it wants basically everything but the bottom layer. So we don't want to click on that face because that'll bring in the bottom layer. But everything else we do want. Did we want this front bit? No, apparently not. Okay. That seems like an oversight, but we don't want that front bit apparently. Oh, we do want that front bit. It lied to me. So we can go in, just double click it to bring it back up and just grab those two spots as well. And now we're good to go on that. Okay, we want to fill it the bottom of our bushing as well. Not sure why not the top, but you know, as one does, we'll just fill at the bottom as it says. Okay. And fill it as well. We want edge and edge, and that will accept around the whole thing. Okay, and we also want these bits as well. You too. Okay, apparently not. Is that meant to be smaller? Yes. Interesting. Fill it right there. Okay, good to go there. I said good to go there. Alrighty, and wants us to change the color. I don't particularly care to do that. I think it looks fine as it is, but we already know how to do that. If you want to, it would be there. So now it wants us to add materials. So what material does it want for our trucks? Aluminum 356. So we're going to select this and this. We're going to edit the assign material for both of those. And aluminum 356, good to go. And you know what? I will edit the appearance for both parts. Why not? Let's make them both gray. Nice boring gray. And the bushing, let's edit the assign material for that, and that's going to be polyurethane. Poly. Polyurethane. There we go. And then it's going to ask you to select these three things, get the mask properties. If it matches, you're good. And hey presto, we have both our deck and our trucks done. So we are moving right along here. And let's head to the wheels and bearings. So for this one, let's open a new part studio. Call this one, rename wheels and bearings. And OnShape does have you do this a very strange way. I would never actually make my wheels and bearings this way, but to each their own. And I think they're doing it this way just to show you guys. Geez, dog! Just to show you guys a few new techniques. But let's get into that. Okay. So yeah. Yep. All right. So sketch, and we're going to sketch on the top plane and for normal, and they want construction lines. Okay. So line and construction at the same time, and we're just going to plonk something down here. Doesn't particularly matter how long or what have you. Okay, so a couple of center point rectangles. I want to make sure we're lined up. One there, and we'll go with one here. Okay, and that's fine. Doesn't really matter how it looks right now. Mine doesn't look anything like theirs, but that is a-okay. Okay. Yeah, so really right now we just want to pull up that, and that'll give us all the dimensions we need. So that's awesome. So D, excuse me, I said D for dimension, and this is 54 millimeters. Wait. D. So this is 54 millimeters. This is 22 millimeters. And notice what I'm doing. I'm clicking the one line. I'm clicking the center line. Well, let me show that again real quick. So D for dimension, I'm clicking that line. I'm clicking the center line and then bringing it below. So you should have dimensions on both sides. And this is what ensures you're getting a diameter instead of a radius. So this one was 22 millimeters. Top here was 54 millimeters. And then we do want to bring that bit up. And this is a 1/4 inch. 0.25 here. Okay, so that got me everything I need with these three lines. So those are all black. So now I just need to find, okay, so we're D. This width-wise is supposed to be 0.5, and this width-wise is 1.417. Maybe it said what it was supposed to be in mils somewhere, but I missed it and I'm being too lazy. So that is correct, but I'm sure they put it in mils. So next thing we want to do is, so we can accept that sketch. Now we want to go ahead and grab the revolve tool here. So revolve, we want both of these. And then for our revolve axis, it's red right now. So I click it to make it blue. And then I'm going to click on that construction line we made. I want to make sure it's full, because full means it's going all the way around. One direction, you could pull it, symmetric again. But yeah, we want it full, all the way around. So accept, and that's going to be fine. Alrighty, so we want some fillets now, 1/4 inch fillets. Fillets, these will be 0.25. Click on our wheel here, and that'll get both sides. Those are the only fillets we want, apparently. All right, let's go N for normal. Oops, not a sketch. We just want to extrude this middle bit here. We want, not an inch, geez. We want 7 millimeters on that. And we want to make sure that's a new part, because this is going to be the bearing. So let's rename these, and this is the wheel, is part 1. And rename part 2 bearing. Okay. So that bearing's hard for me to see, so it'll be fine. All right, so let's make a sketch on that surface. We're going to want a couple of center point circles here. You also could be doing this with the offset tool. Matter of fact, it would be easier with the offset tool, but they're having you do it this way, so we'll follow along at home, and that'll be fine. So D for dimension, we want 1 mil distance, so 1 mm there. This, I want to make sure, is outside, so I'll just drag it that way. And what we're doing is D for dimension, and then I'm clicking my circle. I'm not dragging it out and putting down a diameter for it. I'm clicking this middle point, and I'm telling it I want it 1 millimeter away from there. So now we're good to go there. So we're going to extrude and remove for 0.5 millimeters. And for some nice contrast, I want us to add an appearance to that face, make it green, good to go. Wheel, edit the appearance of that, we'll make it white, so I'll just type in the hex for white. All right, looking good to go there. And the bearing is going to be stainless steel 316, so we'll assign material. Stainless steel 316 and polyurethane for the wheel. Assign material. Polyurethane, and we're good to go. Alrighty. So that is the entirety of making the skateboard. The deck and trucks and the wheels and bearings, that's everything we're going to make. Now we just need to go into our assembly and we're going to put in those parts. So I'm going to grab my deck and trucks, and I'll grab them all as one. I'm going to right click on my skateboard. I want to fix that down. And then wheel and bearings. I'm going to put in 4 of those. And I also know I'm going to need, actually, because I'm lazy, I know it'll be easier to just grab a whole nother set, delete. And then we'll just delete that out of there because we want all these little bits put together. So this part's actually fairly straightforward. What makes things easier is if you just go ahead and rotate around 180 degrees first. That helps you kind of get it straight in your mind. And I did fix that. Yes, I did. So now we just kind of want to fasten everything together. So I'm going to grab my fasten mate, which is this first mate here next to the mate connector. It's 2 over from your insert command. And I want to grab this very top circle. Hey, no, don't look at the source code. What are you doing? If I could, I'd like to right click around and then this very bottom circle. And that will attach it there. So now if I grab that bushing, the whole thing will move. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. Fasten. I'm going to grab this circle here. And you can see it because it's highlighted in yellow. And then I'm going to grab that circle there. So because I had everything all lined up, it did line up nicely. But just in case it didn't, sometimes they'll wind up wonkaloids and sideways like that. Just click this this little Ouroboros looking button here, and that'll be good to go. And sometimes it puts it on upside down, in which case you just click the little arrow to flip it. But because we had it previously lined up, it did go ahead and line itself up. So we'll move this over here, and then for our next trick, we want to use the fasten again, and I'm going to click on the top, well, let's call it the left as we're looking at it this way. And we'll make sure it's the same left as we're looking at it this way. And then I know you're saying, oh, why did we spend all that time pre-attaching that together and now it just came apart again? Well, it didn't. When we click this check mark, it's going to bring everything together. And because it's attached to the skateboard and the skateboard is fixed in place, which means that can't move, we are now good to go. Okie doke. Alrighty. And actually, there is a lazier way to do these wheels. Delete that. I do want this bushing though. So I'm going to take this bushing, because we want bushings on both sides, because that makes sense. We're going to push it in there. And then, like I said earlier, flip it. And now I could delete you. Excuse me, sir. So now I can delete you. Push that over, and we want to fasten that bearing to this part. Okay, now that we got those all nice and assembled, get out of here. Now I'm going to select that whole bit, Control C. Okay, so now I have 4 that are all fastened together. Actually, while we're being lazy, let us do that same thing over here. Control C, Control V. And I'll just delete that guy. So now we got, oh man, it didn't keep that all fastened together. Well, that stinks. Thought I was going to keep it fastened together. Oh well. Alright. Okay, so let's grab this guy. Go back in time before I did any of that. Oh, that's why. That's why. Okay. That's why. It's because that was the side that I didn't have attached. That makes sense. So flop this guy. Whoops. Z. So I'm going to flip this guy around 180 degrees. So 180. We'll bring it over here a little bit. And once again, same exact thing I did previously. We'll go with the top left here and top left there. Now everything is attached together. So from here, we'll just grab our wheels. But this time we're going to use a different mate. Actually, I'm just going to do a little something. Make a sketch here. Move. Just like adding a little something like that so you can see what's going on. Makes it a lot more visual. Without this, you can't really see. So I'm going to grab my Revolute mate here. And I want to make sure I'm clicking right on the inner edge of this bearing or outer edge. It doesn't actually matter. So we'll click the edge of that bearing. And then I want to click the very bottom down here. Looks like it went the wrong way, so let's flip it. It did. And there we go. And the reason I wanted to put that little guy in there is so you can see that this, I can't pull it out, but it moves around. So that's just, that was just a little thing just to show. But again, we're just going to do that again. Revolute. Point to point. Flip it. Good to go. Same thing with this guy. On this side. Flip it. Actually, I think that one was right the whole time. It was. And one more time here. And we're good to go there. Okay. Alrighty, so we're pretty darn close to done now anyways. Let me just find the part where they're talking about what hardware we need. Okay, here we go. Okay, so next thing we want, and for me, this is really hit or miss as to whether the tool they want to teach you here, the replicate tool, will work or not. If it doesn't, you just put everything in manually. But we're going to go to Insert, Standard Content. So we want ANSI inch, bolts and screws, countersunk bolts, because those go into our countersunk holes nicely. We want a 1032, and we want it to be 0.88. And we will insert that guy. So we'll insert it down here. I'm going to hit the should work if I hit the shift key. Should let me lower it down a little bit. Will it? I doubt it. Okay, so I'll just put that there for now. Then I'm going to go back into that fasten. Let's offset it. What's my distance between there? 1.55. Okay, so let's go to that fasten mate and I'll offset that. Go negative 0.155. And that should be perfect. Or it won't. Negative 0.2. Okay, so that will be perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so we're looking good there. Let's see if it does the thing. So I'm going to go to replicate. Where is it? Because I hardly ever use it. There it is, the replicate tool. So mate to be matched is this fasten mate here. Parts to be matched in is the deck. Instances is you. faces to match in is you. Okay, hey, it did work. That doesn't always work for me, but you know, hey presto. And then if you're like me and you just find these things a little bit annoying looking, you can just right click and hide that mate. I just find it a little obnoxious looking, so I get rid of it. So one more again, we're going to insert, this time we want, well, let me scroll down a little bit and find what we want. We want nuts, machine screw nuts, hex machine screw nuts, 1032s, of course, because 1032 fits on a 1032, go figure. Stainless steel and plain is fine. And we're going to insert. And hey, there we go. And then, yeah, it's just kind of painful to try to get those on there, but they will go eventually if you keep poking at it. And then let's try our friend replicate again. You know, it's pretty hit or miss for me, but let's see if it works this time. Mates to be matched is that last fasten. Okay, apparently not. Instances, you. Mates to be matched. Let me have you. Okay. Parts, you. Mates to be matched. I'll move you if I have to. I will hide everything if I have to. It just is not going to let me find those mates. Okay. Oh, now it will. Crying out loud. So now that it let me find that, let's see if replicate. It's not. Mates to be matched. That one. On entity, no. Okay, so it's not gonna let me do that. It's gonna be annoying. So let's just put these guys in. I'll just insert them one by one. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't take that much longer. Or it does. Because then these things can be mildly obnoxious when they want to be. But if you can't find the right spot for them, you can just set it down and I'll move on since that's being obnoxious for whatever reason. Insert. There. Insert. There. Insert. There. Insert. There. I don't know why this one's disagreeing with me so wholeheartedly. No, it's just that one cursed nut. Okay, so we'll get rid of that guy, and just because I'm being persnickety, right click, hide all others, and then right click, hide you. So now I don't have a bunch of mates showing up everywhere. And okay, yeah, we now have ourselves a skateboard. Yeah, looking pretty good. Wheels move. It is a skateboard. Let me know if you guys want to see me do the extension activities, and I will. But yeah, hopefully you were able to follow along. And if this was a lesson, if you're a student and this was an assigned lesson you're struggling with, hopefully this helped you get past it. But yeah, like always, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.